You've probably had this before. Don't eat rice, eat plantain instead. Plantain is safer for diabetes. But is that actually true? Not exactly. And this misunderstanding is quietly confusing a lot of people living with diabetes. Because many people have stopped eating rice completely, but they can eat 4 big roasted plantain without fear. Meanwhile, their sugar is still high. So let's break this down once and for all. But first, plantain is not a free food. Yes, it comes from the ground. I mean, it's natural, it's one of our staple food. But blood sugar does not care whether the carbohydrate came from rice or from a tree. Once it enters your body still breaks it down into glucose. And that's the truth. In fact, sometimes a large ripe plantain can raise blood sugar almost the same way a large portion of rice would, especially ripe plantain, because the riper it gets, the sweeter it becomes, which means the sugar inside it becomes easier and faster to absorb. That's why some people notice when I eat ripe plantain, I get sleepy quickly, or my sugar spikes after bole. Now, does this mean plantain is bad? The answer is no. That's where people get confused. The problem is not really rice versus plantain. The real issue is quantity, ripeness, what you ate it with. That's what changes everything. Take for example, if someone eats 2 huge roasted ripe plantain and soft drink, that can spike sugar badly. But another person eats small unripe plantain with fish and vegetable, and their sugar stays far more stable. Same plantain, different outcome. Now here is another thing many people don't know. Unripe plantain behaves differently from ripe plantain. Unripe plantain contains more resistant starch and even fiber, which means digestion is even slower. So blood sugar tends to rise more gradually. But once plantain becomes very ripe and soft, they start converting into what we call simpler sugars, which means faster sugar rises. And that's why the sweetness matters. And this is also why some diabetics think plantain is safe, when what actually helped them was the small quantity they ate. Not because plantain is magically diabetic proof. Let me even shock you. Some people eat rice more safely than they eat plantain. Yes, because they eat small rice with vegetable, beans, even fish and vegetables too. Why somebody else is eating 3 ripe fried plantains and calling it healthy. So stop looking for which food is safer. Start asking, how am I eating this food? That question matters a lot. Now, does this mean that diabetes should avoid plantain completely? The answer is no. Plantain can actually fit into a diabetic meal. In fact, very well, especially on ripe plantain. But again, portion matters. Now, share this video.